So, welcome to today's video. We are going to be comparing my lap times with and without a VR headset on. So for those of you who don't know, PlayStation VR headset is compatible with Gran Turismo Sport. However, you can only use it for time trials, you can't use it online for racing. So what we're doing today is we're going to do a time trial on a couple of circuits, a couple of different cars, set a lap time, and then put the headset on and see how they compare. So the first place I decided to head to was Dragon Trail Seaside, so I can tackle the chicane of death in VR. What better way to initiate myself to the world of VR than the chicane of death? So anyway, here is my lap without the headset on. So you can see it's just my third lap practice. I was kind of warmed up for this a little bit anyway, because we've been doing the daily race B this week, so I've done one or two races this morning, so I didn't need too much practice. I'm in the Aston Martin Group 3 car, so it's an alright track. It's not one of my favourites, but I thought it would be a great place to test the VR with this chicane just coming up. So very tricky through here. No brakes, just a bit of a lift off. Try and nail that and not hit the wall on the exit. So the reason I want to do this video is I've seen lots of YouTube reviews on PlayStation VR, but nothing comparing what you can actually do lap time wise. So a lot of the time the drivers aren't particularly skilled, or they're comparing graphics but not actually lap time. So let's have a look here. So coming across the line, a 1:38.281 without the VR. So not too bad lap. I probably could have done a 37 with a bit more practice. But right, let's go on to VR now and see what the difference is. So first time through the chicane and bam, hit the wall on exit. Second time through and hit it on turn. So not a great start. Eventually we did get a lap together, and this is it. First thing I want to say about VR with a driving game, when you've got a wheel and pedals, the whole setup it is unbelievably realistic. The biggest thing I noticed when swapping from using the TV to the VR was I was braking way too early. You react instinctively like you would in a car, and you start off slow and speed up, where sometimes when you're using the TV screen it's almost the opposite. You start off going a bit too hard, a bit too fast in the corners, and have to rein it back a little bit. Well, with the VR it's the opposite. You do start off slow and you gradually build up. And when you do crash and hit the wall like I did in the chicane in that clip earlier, it's quite scary. You are expecting for a brief moment to feel a bit of an impact. So it took me a while on this circuit, especially because of the chicane, to get up to speed. So while I did 3 laps just using the TV, it's taken me about half an hour to get to this point. To hit this fastest lap. Coming into the final corner then, down into second gear, trying to hit that apex on the power as soon as you can. That's another thing with the VR as well, is getting used to being able to get on the power earlier than you think you can. And across the line then, so a 1:38.371. So we haven't quite beaten our lap time from the TV screen, and I'm going to give that victory to the TV then for our first one. So moving on then, onto a combination that I've really enjoyed. It's one of my personal favourites. So we're using the Porsche RSR Group 3 car at Barcelona. So around the final turn then, to complete what will be the fastest lap so far, which is 1:45.372. So I've done 7 laps already, decided to go for one more, as I think there's still a little bit of time left in there. You can see my lap times are kind of a little bit all over the place, sort of 46s and 45s. I've been making quite a few mistakes. This is a track that I know I can push and get quite a fast time, and sometimes you just push those limits a little bit too far. Most of the time it was down into the hairpin, just braking a little bit too late and losing time there, or through the final chicane. Sometimes it can be easy to launch yourself off one of those curbs. So 45.3, still a good lap time. Let's see what we can do here. So we're already just over a tenth up, so it is looking a little bit faster. A little bit wide there, but get away with it. And again, two wheels on the grass, and I've lost a little bit of time. Very tricky, that corner in the Porsche. It's quite an understeery car on this game. Some of the other Group 3 cars take that fast right-hander very nicely, but a little bit difficult in Porsche. So got the braking point right on this lap, up through the last part of the track and the trickiest section, making sure you keep it as far to the right as you can, braking just before the bridge, and then trying to take as much curb as you can without launching the car, and on the power early and all the way through, not lifting off. So let's go across the line and see what it is. And we do a 1:45.306, so it's a little bit faster, and I'm happy with that. I'm going to leave it at that. So on to VR then, and you notice the first thing I've done, or second lap I should say, is a 1:45.8, followed by a 1:45.7. So we're already setting pretty good pace, and this was kind of a theme throughout my laps in the VR on this track. So again, 1:45. I was much more consistent. So the first 6, 7, 8 laps were all in the 1:45s, which, you know, goes to show that you can be very consistent in VR. And I actually found I made less mistakes in the VR because you don't tend to outbrake yourself so much, because you get more of a sense of the depth and how far the corner is. You get a better feel for not kind of where the limit is, but where the limit isn't, if that makes sense. So on to my best lap then, and you can see the cockpit view looks like I'm very close to the steering wheel, but it is different. So when you've got it on, you do feel like everything is in 3D. You look down and you see your feet. You know, you look to the right and you can see the passenger side of the car, or what would be the passenger side of the car. You look behind you, you can see the back of the car. It is very, very realistic. You don't quite get the sense of how realistic it is watching this video back. It just kind of looks a bit like a wobbly cockpit view, like this. But yeah, when you're wearing it, it is very, very cool. So around the hairpin then, losing a little bit of traction on the exit, but hasn't cost me too much. And then into the final tricky section once again. So I've taken quite a bit of curb there. Again, decent amount of curb, full throttle, really nailing that last section of the track, trying to open up the steering as much as we can. And across the line, we've done a 1:45.267. So we have gone faster with the VR headset on in Barcelona. Very, very pleased with that lap, and I'm giving that a point to the VR headset. Our final challenge will be tackling Spa-Francorchamps in a Super Formula car with a retro McLaren Mercedes livery, as you can see there. And this time I decided to do it slightly different, so I decided to go out first in VR and set a lap, and then see if I could beat it using the TV screen, as it's only fair that we try both ways. So the first thing I want to say is this was probably the coolest experience in VR for me so far. Sitting in a single seater, feeling like you are in an open air cockpit. You can see the wheels, you can look to the right and the left and look in the mirrors, you see the head restraints either side of you. It's very, very, very cool. And the other thing you notice as well is the halo becomes less of an issue. So obviously you can see it in this clip here, and it looks like it's taken up a lot of your view, but when you're in the VR, it's like it would be in real life. So it's a bit like when you hold a finger in front of your face and then try to look past it. It's sort of, you can still see it's there, but you can almost see through it as well. So that's kind of how the halo works, and VR does replicate that very, very nicely. So the other thing that it should be said about driving the Super Formula, or any single seater in fact in VR, is again it's much easier to be consistent. I don't think I spun or crashed the car once. Like it was very, very consistent. I was making all the apexes, I was braking at the right places, and then gradually over a number of laps it started getting faster and faster. It did feel very realistic, and I kind of didn't want to stop really. Normally I'd get bored doing time trials all the time, but with the VR on, you can sit on it and sit with it on and enjoy it for a long period of time, because it does feel like you're actually driving. And for those of you who know, you know, it is fantastic. So 1:55.7 then with the VR headset on. I was quite pleased with that lap. Felt quite fast, so I decided to end things there and move on to the TV screen. And going back to the TV, it felt challenging. It felt like I was struggling to brake at the right points. I was losing traction out of corners easier. It did take me a little while to get to grips with it, and I was crashing quite a lot. So you can see here, this is my fastest lap, but I've had to restart. So this is technically lap 1 of this stint, due to crashing in the one before. So yeah, VR is definitely easier to be more consistent and make less mistakes. But let's see how the lap times compare. So coming through the twisty section at the top of the hill, then trying to keep the throttle on as much as you can, going through the right hander, down into Ravage. There's two kind of lines you can take here. One, you can come deep and then cut back like so, and the other is to keep very close to the curb. Again, on the power as early as you can to get down the hill. Shifting one gear down when you get to the 50 board and throwing it in. Back on the throttle, full throttle all the way through the left hander. And then braking at the start of the curb, down 3 gears, clipping the apex on the right and again on the left. Shifting up to 4th as soon as you can. Again, braking at the start of the curves, down 2 gears and on the power as soon as you can there. Full throttle through the right hander, and then just trying to keep it as straight as you can through the whole back straight, if you can call it a straight. Full throttle through the left hander, no problems there. And then braking just after the first board, down into first, throwing it in, bit of throttle, and then lift off, and then short shifting out of first, up third, fourth, and across the line. And we've done a 1:55.2, so we've beaten our lap by nearly half a second there. Technically, this means that the TV has won. However, I decided to have another go using VR. I was enjoying it so much, I just wanted to get back on track. I changed my car livery, so we're in a Williams retro livery. One of my favourite cars from when I first got into motorsport, and I was having so much fun. I just wanted to go again because I knew that I could probably beat my lap time. Where I haven't driven these cars that much recently, I felt that I was getting better and better each lap that went past, whether with the headset on or without. So I thought I'll have one more go and see if I can better it. So here's the lap. I know I've said it before, but just going up this straight and looking each side and feeling like you're in a proper single-seater car is pretty cool. You know, it's the best part of having the VR headset is the feeling and the sensation of driving a real car. That is the best thing about it, is the experience. It's going lap after lap and not getting bored. And it doesn't matter that no one else is on track with you, because you're just thoroughly enjoying every second of it. Obviously I wish that it could work online and you could play sport mode with it. I understand that it probably wouldn't be possible because of the PS4 and the limitations with the processing power. You know, a full grid of 20 drivers all with VR headsets on, I imagine the PS4 wouldn't be able to cope with that. But hopefully when the PS5 is released shortly, maybe there could be an update, or you know, maybe when Gran Turismo 7 comes out, it will be fully VR capable. That would be absolutely fantastic. So, final part of the lap then, flat out through the left-hander as we approach the bus stop chicane, looking to brake between the first two meter boards, down into first gear, trying to get as much curve as we can without hitting the sausages, and then short shifting up through the gears and across the line with a 1:55.1, taking a last minute victory with the VR headset. Overall, I think that you can be equally as fast whether you're wearing a VR headset or using a normal TV screen. However, it's definitely more fun wearing the VR headset. If you have any questions, please comment below, and if you enjoyed the video, please feel free to subscribe.